Hello, today's video is all about making your internet access safer. So it's all about making your internet safe for you and your family. Today's video was originally an idea that I had from listening to the Jeremy Vine show on BBC Radio 2. I'm not receiving any funding or anything like that, or anything from the BBC for creating this video. Neither am I actually receiving anything from YouTube. However, the YouTube story that was on the particular page was created through Jeremy Vine interviewing Alison Pearson, who was shocked to discover that her 12-year-old daughter had posted a film of herself dancing on YouTube. Now, it may well be that you don't want your children to be accessing various sites on the internet without your permission, and again, this is understandable. So I'm going to show you a practical way of actually protecting you and your family, so that you know when your family, if they're using Wi-Fi on a laptop or maybe using a computer somewhere in a room, that you can actually identify when they're going online. Before I go any further, I want to point out something to you. I am accessing internet access through John Home. You'll see the word John Home appeared there, and the signal's good, and I'll come back to what John Home might mean in this particular instance. Okay, I'm going to pause the video whilst I go through to the router address that I'm going to be using. Okay, you can now see that I'm using www.router.limit.com, and you can see that it's producing the server request for Netgear router. Now, I'm actually using the Netgear DG834G. If you look at the back label, probably of your router, you will find that it has a name to it. I mentioned a few minutes back that I'm actually using the John Home setup, and this is quite important. Now, hopefully you'll have a username and you'll have a password for your router, and I shall come back to that possibly a little bit later on, why you might want to change your username and password in due course. But certainly those bits of information are extremely important. You may well find also that the instruction manual that you have actually asks you to put in a set of numbers. For example, 192.162.8.01, or a series of numbers like that. That also will gain access to your router, and you may well find that in your instruction manual, or you may have been asked to type that in by your ISP provider. Okay, please bear with me. Okay, thank you for rejoining me. That brief pause as I've put some details in. You can see here we have a router status help section, and on the left hand side we have some other key bits of information. One of the key things we've got is a content filtering section within Netgear's settings, and this may well be the same for other different types of router. You can see that we have a security service, and this gives you a form of parental control that you can download. Okay, now that may well have you may well have software similar to this that you could access on your router. However, let me have a look at the blocked sites. Now, if you think about the original issue that was involved, this particular lady wanted to look at blocking access to a particular site potentially, or for stopping children uploading. If you consider that it's possible to block sites through your router, you can even schedule the access to the router. You can type in the names, the domain names. Now, what's a domain name? Well, domain name is this section here, the actual domain itself, and you can type that in, add the keywords, and you can then apply a block. To explain this further, you'll see here on the block sites help, you'll actually see a guide to how you can actually block or enable or schedule the access to the sites. Okay, so there's a whole load of ways that you can stop the access to it. Remember that the router actually gives you access through all your laptops at home, maybe through your main tower, your main home desktop computer, to the internet. So by blocking a particular series of sites or particular words, you can actually really control the access that you are providing for your family to the internet. You can ensure that in actual fact they cannot gain access to certain types of sites where there may be explicit issues that you might be concerned about. You might decide that you don't want that particular type of site available to your family. So again, you can allow trusted IP addresses, etc. I mentioned a few minutes back that you might have certain names for your site, and I'm going to show you the sort of places that you could find that sort of information, which might be important to you. You saw the word John Home appear, and you'll note that this is in actual fact is part of the SSID, which you can change to suit your needs. You can change the name of your router, what it's been broadcast to other people. Through changing the actual name, you can ensure that when you check your children's computer and what they're accessing, the name will appear there, and the connection will be clear to you, and you'll be able to check that your children are only accessing through the router and through the protected routes that you have. So I'm hoping this may be of some use to certain people, or some people that may have heard that show and really wondered, how can they protect their family? It is possible. I hope this video has been of use to you.